How to go from silent quit to a true legit without burning bridges. In this video, Teresa Scott will share how to go from burnout to brilliance by focusing on what energizes you. You'll learn to find your passion and make a career out of it. Welcome to the Wellness Driven Life Show. Make sure to subscribe so you know when we're coming on. And you're about to go on a wellness driven ride. I'm really pleased to share our guest with you today. Teresa Scott is an experienced learning and development program strategist with over 6 years of experience in instructional design, e-learning development, and project management. Her mission is to empower professionals to own their skill development through engaging online learning experiences. Teresa holds a master's degree in instructional design and technology from Stanford University and has led several learning initiatives for organizations such as AT&T, DirecTV, and eBay on career development, leadership, and DE&I. Throughout her career, Teresa has demonstrated a passion for learning and developing creative solutions that drive an impact to increase the knowledge and skills of professionals. She is skilled in video animation, graphic design, and gamification. Teresa enjoys sneaker shopping and spending time with her family in her free time. Please help me welcome Teresa Scott. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, how are you?
Great. Welcome to the Wellness Driven Life Show. You made it here.
I did. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And you have such a great background, and I love what you stand for because, as said in the title, if we're not passionate about what we're doing in our careers, that makes such a big difference. But what I'd love for you to do is to introduce you to our audience today.
Sure, absolutely. So, again, everyone, my name is Teresa Scott. I am a learning and development program strategist. And what I love to do is break that down. So, the simplified version of what I do is when you think about your professional development, where you're wanting to go online, whether it's in your organization or on your own time, and increase your skills in leadership, communication, becoming a brand advocate, whatever it might be, I'm that person that creates that learning experience for you. So thinking about the engagement, whether it's seeing a video or scenario-based game or some type of interaction or even animation, graphic design, I'm that person that pieces those things together so that you can really take the information that you spent so much time learning and go and apply it in real life, whether it's in your career, professional, leisure time, whatever the case is, and you can really be able to apply that and increase your knowledge and skills. So like I said, keeping it simple, but that is what I do to really empower professionals.
That's amazing. And you definitely have that creative aspect of you and certainly can bring that out to others. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in that. What is something from your life history that really brought you into this or started thinking about the importance of how creativity in your careers is so important?
I actually really fell into this career. I tell people this career honestly found me. Starting out in college, getting my bachelor's degree for communications. I really didn't have a clear vision on what that was going to look like in the end. And but I was also subsequent, like concurrently at the same time, working full time as a digital marketing and sales agent for Yellow Pages at the time in their call center. And I was doing it for that time being, going to school, working full time. And after a while of working in sales, it got to a point where I was nearing the end of my degree, and I kept thinking to myself, what's next? Like, what can I do with this degree? Where can I go next? How can I pivot from sales? Because for me personally, I had a great time doing it. I was really good at it. I don't believe in half stepping in anything I do. Um,
Mm.
but it wasn't something I enjoyed. It wasn't something that made me happy. It was very draining. It was stressful. The beat down of talking to people on the phone, possibly getting cussed out. You just never know what happens. And I had a coworker at that time who, his wife was a student services counselor for my university. Said, Teresa, we're introducing this program for instructional design technology. And I thought, what is this? I got curious because I'm always trying to figure out, what's the next thing. So I'm curious. She was like, this is going to be one of those career fields that's going to grow over time and all these things. And I thought, okay, this could be futuristic. Like I want to be, I didn't want to just think about what's that next year, but what can be something long term for me. So I finished my bachelor's degree, went into that cohort, and I really enjoyed it. I thought, this is interesting. I never thought about training in this aspect. I think a lot, like
Mm.
me myself, like a lot of us, we see training, you think, okay, well, it's the information, I get it, but really going through that, understanding the process, the methodology behind how you put that together to really build something that's effective, was something that really captivated me.
Yeah.
So when I finished my degree, I thought, oh my God, how can I get into this field? Like I really didn't want to be in a position where I had this degree, but I went a completely left field, in my career with it. So at the time, I was, like I said, I was in sales, and I started applying for jobs in that field, and I couldn't get them. I got a lot of no's. I spent like a year. I couldn't get a job, and all of the denials were not enough experience. Well, how do you gain experience when you're
Uh-huh.
applying for a job for experience? So,
Common.
so I thought to myself, okay, what skills do I have? What transferable skills do I have at this organization that I was in? They actually didn't have an opportunity for me. They were going through an acquisition. The company was going in opposite direction. So I made a lateral move from sales to another organization with AT&T and their sales department. I came in, and I reflected on all the things that, when in my past experience, when I went for a role, I didn't get it. What was the feedback? You didn't put yourself out there, or we didn't know you were interested, or all these things. Because early on, I thought to myself, if I work hard, and I apply, I'll get the job. That wasn't the case. That just wasn't the
Mm.
case. Um, and so I thought to myself, so what were some things that I could do better? What some things I didn't do, and applied that going forward? So I said, okay, I came through the doors, and I said, okay, you want to do sales? I can do sales. I can do sales. I can hit numbers. I was top 10 in the call center. But also what I paired with it was understanding the value of really building a network. Talking to
Mm.
other leaders, understanding what is the process to move from A to Z, and really verbalizing to other people so they know what I'm interested in doing next and taking my career. I'm interested in having a career here. Where can I go? And started verbalizing that. I ended up getting a mentor, who was actually my trainer when I came into the organization. And she's let me shadow the class. I did a little bit of training of like my new peers in the new hire class while I was a new hire myself. And just really just demonstrating my leadership skills on top of it, in addition to doing my sales. And when the time came about for applying for a role for a senior training manager, what I wanted to do, I applied. I got it. I had things to talk to. I had experience. I had leadership skills. I had people who could at least write me a referral. Like I was ready at this point. I was like, yes,
Mhm.
finally. Um, and when I came into it, God, I like to tell people, the team I came into, with AT&T, was like a group of pioneers. And when I talk about this, these were folks who they were building training from the ground up. That was one thing, but they were versed in 2D and 3D animation. They were versed in video production, not just actually shooting the video and editing, but also writing the scripts so they can articulate and know what to shoot and everything. And all those components, I am like a sponge when it comes to learning new things. So every person on that team that had that skill, I sat next to them. And I said, hey, can you show me how to do this? And they were like, absolutely. Hey, can you show me how to do animation? Can you show me how to do graphic design? Can you show me how to write a video? Uh, you know, even one of my teammates who was versed at videography, I didn't pick up a camera personally, but he definitely taught me a lot of skills and things to look for, just down to the lighting and the whole process of shooting a proper video. And that is where I enjoyed it. I fell in love with the process. It was complex, it was creative, it was engaging, and it was amazing to see literally nothing, having nothing and making it into something. And that's really how I came into it. And so,
wow. Well, I mean, I can absolutely, and the audience too can see your passion for this and how energized you are. And I heard a few things. One I want to say is when you were able to teach the team is once taught, twice learned, right? And that gave you more exposure in front of others, and then it just boosted you to be able to show that you're confident and capable. And also, when we go back to when you experienced the time where the job was not fulfilling for you, and it just motivated you to search for something else. And what I heard during your story is that, when you got that year of no's, it didn't stop you. And I feel like because you had that understanding of what didn't fulfill you and didn't serve you, it wasn't going to let you stop. You were going to keep going and keep pushing until, you hit that goal of where you found something that lit you up.
Exactly. Anyone that knows me best knows that when I want something, I have to have it. And to me, a no is a not right now. It's taking some time to recognize that, just realizing how I have to show up and advocate for myself. I talk about, getting those denials, being told I didn't have enough experience. Even when I was in sales, there was a point in time in sales where I thought, okay, well, I can be a manager. I'm honestly training my peers on how to do sales. I'm hopping on their sales calls, helping them close their sales. I could be a leader to help propel the team forward, but still being denied after, showing my capability, showing my skills, being told, hey, Teresa, I understand you get that job, but I wish I was making this much money when I was your age. And, I'm sitting there like, what does that mean? But when you're showing up and you're demonstrating and you're getting the feedback and you're recognizing that there's no negative, like I'm asking for, like, where can I improve? And there's no negative. I realized that there was a point where I had to really show up for myself and say, okay, you have to take control, because there are other people who are either going to support you or hold you back. And it's up to you to decide which way you want to go and how you navigate that. And you have to be in control of it. So I had to really show up for myself at a point to say, you know what, you're telling me no, but I'm going to keep going. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. And I'm going to keep going forward with that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, you have such a colorful story. I love it. And you have so much good things to say and give away to the audience, to the world. I love the light that you're bringing in and teaching others. When we come back from the commercial, I want to talk a little bit more. I know there was definitely some pivotal moments that you experienced to help you make certain decisions to move forward when we come back. Hi, I'm April Hove, the Managing Director of the Fort Worth, Texas chapter of eWomen Network. I'm so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You have just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We are on a mission to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now is no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you, as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connecting through 118 chapters across the US, Canada, Australia, and the UK, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to eWomenNetwork.com/Fort Worth. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I am really looking forward to introducing you to our community. Welcome back. So, Teresa, I know that you hit so much on a bunch of your story, but I would love for you to share what were some specific moments or pivotal moments where you really decided and knew that you needed to make a change, or when you found out what it was you were passionate about?
So I'll start with when I knew I needed to make a change. I think it was a point when I was on my sales. I was, again, going back early on digital marketing and sales. I was on my team, and my manager at the time said, "Hey, Teresa, I would love if you could come into the managers meeting and teach them on," I think it was like a new system or something at that time. And I led that meeting, um, knocked it out, uh, brought a lot of things to the light on how to use the system that they didn't know. They even asked me to train a couple of their members on their teams. Of course, I had done it already for my own as well. And when it came time for, to apply for a role, that I got denied for it. And I asked, you know, what was that reasoning for it? And I couldn't really get a clear and direct response. And for me, rejection is a part of life.
Mm.
We get yeses, we get nos. That's not a big deal to me. However, when I ask for feedback so I can improve or at least know why the denial came about, and I can't get a clear response, that lets me know that, you know, you just overlook me. And it gets to a point where one time, not a big deal, but then there's a second time, and then there's a third time, and actually with me, there's a fourth, there's a fifth. It's like,
Mm.
I'm not fully valued here.
Yeah.
And, I'm the type of person that, again, if I do something, I'm going to do it wholeheartedly because I want to be the best at it. I want to be great at it. And especially at the time in sales, it's competitive in a sense. You have those morning rallies. I want my shout out. I put up X amount of dollars in sales. I'm doing that. And then when I'm recognized for additional, when I'm going out of my way to do additional things on top of it, and still not um getting that recognition in terms of getting to that next level of my career, I recognized that I couldn't grow. Like, I could not grow. And, there wasn't anything anyone could tell me, anything different. So I'm like, okay, obviously I've plateaued here. I've reached the peak and there's no indirection in sight. And so when I got introduced to the master's program for instructional design technology, that was just kind of, the tip of the nail, because at that point now, it's like, okay, I have this degree. I want to do this. I want to apply education to real life. How can I do that? And when I recognize, not only could I not get promoted as a leader, but now I can't also apply this. It's time to move on, and I have to do something different.
Yeah. Ah, wow, that was deep. Because and I think that so many of us really have experiences like that within our career life. And you mentioned you didn't feel heard, you didn't feel valued, and then you weren't able to grow. You didn't feel
Exactly.
like you had an environment that you could truly be yourself and grow from and learn from. And so there's this stagnant aspect of, why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
And so and then you went into another program where you started seeing things different, where there are possibilities
Mm-hmm.
of something different.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, uh, one of the biggest fears I have is being complacent. Um, Throughout my career as a whole, I think I've worked alongside some amazing professionals, but at the same time, there people we as people naturally get complacent with things that are comfortable, they're guaranteed, they're sure, and we don't take the time to really take a step back and invest in ourselves, because, a the reality is a job is not always so guaranteed. I don't care full time or part time. They can make a change at any given moment, and then hey, where are you? You're back to square one. And we don't take the time to really invest in ourselves and really advocate for ourselves, then you really kind of do yourself a disservice. And so when again, just really for me at that time, evaluate my situation. Where can I go? How can I grow? And I can't do it here. Making that pivotal step to say, you know what? If I can't get the job directly for what I want to do, how can I? What skills do I have that I could transfer over? And that can still get me to the next level. Like I'm the type of person where if I can't go through the front door, I'll get in through the back. And then I'll go up. If I take the stairs, I'll take the stairs because I'm gonna get there. I'm going to get there. And so, just building that strategy on how I can get in through that door and finding, and for me, it was finding a place where one, I could take those skills I had to transfer on, but also where could I grow to get to that next level as well. So that's that twofold look for it. Look out for it.
I love that. That wording is so cool. Where can I go? Where can I grow? And if I can't get in the front door, I'm going to the back door and I'm taking the stairs. In fact, that's a really good book. I can't remember who wrote it. Take the Stairs, but it's what it made me remind me. But that's really cool feedback and such a strong perspective that I think is really valuable for our audience, because don't let anything stop you. If you're not happy, then just keep going. Find another way, because there is another way. So I want to bring us back into another commercial. And when we get back, let's start diving into what you do, what you're good at, and how you shine the light for others to be able to find this and the creative side within them when we come back.
With key ingredients supported by over 80 clinical trials, the exclusive formulation of the Bella Grace Collagen Elixir is changing lives everywhere. Ingesting collagen peptides alone is not very helpful. This is where most collagen products fall short, and where Bella Grace changes everything. Unlike other collagen products, the Bella Grace Collagen Elixir controls the gene switches which activate collagen creation and disables the enzymes that break down the matrix. Bella Grace Collagen Elixir contains Verisol, the world's best and most clinically studied form of collagen. These elite collagen peptides influence the skin's collagen metabolism directly from the inside. Nature's most powerful antioxidant. 6,000 times more potent than vitamin C, Astaryl astaxanthin prevents the activation of gene switches that drive inflammation and activates the gene switch responsible for cellular repair and longevity, forming bridges across cell membranes, protecting them from free radical attack. Amazonian cat's claw suppresses the enzymes that degrade collagen and our skin matrix caused by oxidants and inflammation. It simply turns the switch off. The world's most studied collagen, plus activating the genes that make collagen, plus switching off the genes that break down collagen, has resulted in something the world has never experienced. The Bella Grace Collagen Elixir. Start your 30-day Bella Grace challenge today.
There's a link in the description to learn more about Bella Grace. And Teresa, based on your history and all of these learning experiences that you've had, with your career, the trials and tribulations, not feeling valued in the workplace, not feeling heard, not feeling like you have a place to grow in. Tell me a little bit about based from those experiences. Now, how do you bring this to light to your customers?
Oh, absolutely. So, when I think about my career journey, you know, some people can say, well, that's the early on career experience, or that's those are some things that people in early career stages face. But as I went on AT&T and doing training and development training, I recognized, actually a prime example when COVID hit, especially. I think that took the world by storm, and how to pivot, how to make these changes. People lost their jobs, they were starting over, and all these major things happened. And I recognized that you have to begin to advocate for yourself. You have to really be forward thinking about what skills you're looking to develop, how you want to grow. I, I think the reality is we're all, no matter what age we are, what stage we're all trying to figure it out. We're all trying to understand where to go in our lives. And what I want through my business, I want to create career advocates. On one half, whereas I support other businesses and be their resource to continue to deliver their training and with strategic solutions, they're able to truly educate their clients, their workforce, the people they support, but giving them a platform where people can say, what, I want to pick this up. I want to be able to learn these new skills. I don't have the time, but now you do. Now you can learn in your time. It's on demand. It's readily available. It's consistent information, and it's digestible. Where I really plug in is what I really feed off of. What I found that truly energizes me is taking something that's so complex to someone else and really being able to break that down. I've been in situations where somebody say, well, Teresa, all I have is, this PDF, or all I have is this document, all I have is, a PowerPoint. And it always starts with all I have, and they're usually in a panic. And I'm like, okay, that to me, that's a sweet spot to come in and be able to solve that problem, to come in and say, what, let's take what we have, and we can I can do the research, we can gather more information and put these tools together, because it's so important that employers supply their employees with development opportunities, but also concurrently employees are able to access those resources to advocate for themselves, because it's a two-way street to be able to grow in that business, to be able to grow in your career. And if me being able to do that is really where I feel I create the greatest value, I create the greatest partnership, and I really help to strengthen, that value proposition on both ends.
Yeah, this is really where you get to take from burnout to brilliance.
Exactly.
Right? And, also what I hear is, when we talk about people not being happy, and, now the big term, right? And I use it in the description because it's such a noisy term right now, is the silent quitting. And so I know that from what I understand, you really dive deep into whether it's a company with a team, or whether it's somebody on an individual level and they're going into an entrepreneurial world, or they have a small team where you're helping them create and design something that helps alleviate that burnout / silent quitting aspect. We don't want anyone to get to that point.
Absolutely. And I know so many people, professionally and personally, you think about you start a job, the employer has spent, I don't know, however many thousands of dollars, probably $20,000 to $50,000 onboarding this new employee, but you miss the mark in providing them true training on how to do the job. And you shorten yourself, because this is an opportunity to resell your brand. They're representing your business. So why are we not talking about what does your brand look like? What is that brand voice? How do we utilize, like, how you walk, talk, and speak should be within that training, and also showing them how to apply that into the role. It's better. You create better performing employees. And what does that mean? Generating more efficiencies, more revenue for the business. It's a two-way street. But so many times people get into these jobs, whether it's 1 year, 10 years, however long, they get into these roles, I should say, and they don't have effective training, and they have no clue what to do. And they've had somebody to give them, that something, that this course here, or they had this virtual class whatever they set up for them, but it truly wasn't effective enough for them to feel confident in doing the job. And so what happens? Quiet quitting, or people just doing enough to get by, and to maybe if they're on the phone drops, just to keep the calls flow, you see the dial outs or whatever the case is, they're finding ways to mask, their productivity.
Yeah.
And it's just a lack of information and confidence, a lot of times.
Right. So I want to take this, kind of shift gears a little bit, because this is what sort of excites me. And I'm sure that it's going to excite you as well, because it's what you do. But when we start talking about the types of training and what we're including in that training, you spoke a little bit about, how are we engaging? And I think your knowledge with the gamification, how do you include and what do you include in the training for employees in order to really make them feel, well, that they're getting the knowledge and information, right? Because we want it to stick.
Mm-hmm.
That only makes sense. And that they're engaged enough to want to continue with the learning. Because I know I've been in the corporate world as well, and you see the training modules, and it's like, okay, get me some more coffee, please, because I'm passing out. I can't take this no more, So tell me a little bit more about that. I want to know the science behind what it is that you can take and apply and give to a learning audience.
Sure. I'll start with an example just to have something to talk to. So I think about our supporter recruiting team at one point, and they, recruiters, they have these different systems they use to source new talent into the organization and go through resumes and all that great stuff. And what happened with this particular team was that they got this new system, company spent a lot of money on, they wanted them to use, and they had just had a previous system that they didn't have too much longer themselves. So they had finally figured that one out, but now we're getting rid of that one and we're going into a new one. And so we're having to unlearn the old, learn the new. And their training solution was to maybe reach out to like the account managers of the platform, and they do like a workshop, so to speak, where they share their screen kind of like this, and they walk you through the training and show you, like, walk you through the system and kind of show you what the ins and outs and all this good stuff. And you find that agents or these recruiters, they'll go into this training, they'll walk out, and there's still some uncertainty. They're still not completely sure, they're still not completely confident in how to utilize this system. And so where I plug in is thinking about, okay, a lot of times when we run the business or we run the product, whatever the case is, our thing is, well, we need to use it. We spent this money, it does X, Y, Z, we need to use it, and you go out and do it. Well, the person on the other end, you're just you're giving kind of an information dump. Like you said, you might sit in that training, 30 minutes, 1 hour, a couple of days, you might be overloaded, and you've seen it, but you haven't really touched the system. Some of the information you've probably forgotten. And what I would think about is really putting myself in an opposing person's seat on how they would learn that system. What are going to be some functions they need from the day to day? And again, thinking about, they just had another system in place. So why is it valuable for them to really take on this one? I'm not saying necessarily that we're talking about, well, they make you use this one or the other, but really for them to understand why is this valuable, so they can walk into it, at least with an open mind and say, I am willing to learn it to at a quicker pace. I'm willing to go ahead and apply it, dive in, and so on. Because a lot of us have reservations about new things. A lot of people have reservations about learning new skills, going to new systems. And I think we need to be more strategic about how we do that training. So I would look at it from, well, why are we not doing a simulation? It's a new system. Give them what's called like a sandbox environment. Let them play in it. They can't break anything. People are, again, scared of what they don't know. But if you give them an environment where they can see it, interact, engage, you walk them through it, provide feedback in that moment, then they're able to say, you know what? Okay, I did this, that wasn't going to work, but when I hit this worked, and it gave me feedback, and I knew why. So when I go into that real system, now I recognize, you know what, this is exactly what I do, because I just saw it over here in the training environment. Just those simple things are a big turnkey. And now you look at it, people are using the platform, they're signing up, they're utilizing it more, they're straying away from the old system more and more, they're more engaged with it. But that's just thinking outside the box on how to go from, okay, we've given them training, to no, we've given them an effective training solution to be able to apply it now for the job. I think your sound went out. I can't hear you.
You really are utilizing that gamification aspect of that in your training. And, that's exactly what is continuing to keep people energized in order to stay engaged and listen and want to be a part of that. So Teresa, would you have any recommendations for people if we're outside of the training aspect, but just in, their career lives in general? How would you suggest people stay energized in the career world in general?
I think with every role we find ourselves doing a little bit extra, whether it is, organizing events, having, mentoring sessions, whatever the case is. And I say lean into those things that you find to be, it literally energizes you, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel like, I can take on the rest of the day. If you go into a meeting, you leave out and you're smiling, you feel good, you're ready to go to the next thing. That's probably indication that this is something I enjoy doing. Maybe I need to mentor more. Maybe I need to do more speaking engagement. Maybe I need to teach more, whatever the case is. I say lean into that more often to really be able to find yourself and find that thing that you enjoy.
And so I'm going to go to our last commercial. And when we come back, I want you to dive in a little bit to what lessons you have learned that continue to energize you today. So when we get back.
Hello, everyone. I am Kim Jacobs, the host of The Kim Jacobs Show. And you all know who's right here with me, Dr. Les Brown. How are you, Dr. Brown?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time you want to give yourself a competitive edge. If you got a message, you have some knowledge or experience, a story, or if you want to do something adventurous and exciting with your life that can increase your credibility, expose you to millions of people, I'm encouraging you to have your own talk show. I used to have a talk show. That one talk show catapulted me to another level. Now there are more people watching the internet, as you are aware, than television. Yes. Come on, somebody.
That's right.
Dr. Kim Jacobs, she trained people on how to have their own talk show. She will train you how to do that. And now with me partnering with her, now you have the combination of an audience, expansive audience. We have over 4 million people in all of our platforms, and the coaching you need to grow your business, to grow your multi-level marketing organization, to draw more attention to yourself in this noisy economy. Go ahead, Kim.
So in the training that I do, Les, I actually do a 6-week training. It's 1 hour per week. And each week I meet with the individuals one-on-one. We go through and we talk about all of the things that's necessary for a show to become a reality. We go from how to actually identify your focus area, what's going to be your ideal customer that's going to be tuning in. We'll talk about how to get guests, how to get sponsorship, how to go about getting your lighting, your branding, and your banners, and everything that you need to know. And guess what, Les? They own their own content at the end of the day.
And that's exciting. Now, if you're ready to create a shift in your business and in your life and increase your cash flow, I want you to go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. It's right there on the screen, KimJacobsConsulting.com. You know, people say opportunity knocks on every door. Right. No, opportunity stands by silently waiting for you to recognize it. So I want you to recognize that this is a time for you. This is an incredible time to have your own talk show. It establishes a level of credibility.
Yes.
And by being exposed to people on a regular basis, it allows you to strategically begin to impact and attract your audience. She can take you in a place in yourself that you can't go by yourself. So go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. That's KimJacobsConsulting.com. Did I say KimJacobsConsulting.com? Yes, you did. Very good. Make sure you go there and sign up for the coaching, and we're looking forward to working with you. You have something special. You have greatness within you. That's my story, and that's Kim's story, and we're sticking to it. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Love it.
Yes. Speaking of courses and training, right? Kim is an incredible coach. And also speaking of, giving shout outs, I want to bring in a comment. Um, it looks like Imari said, I have taken a course created by Blueprint and it was so engaging. And so I also want to let our viewers know, if you have something to say or ask, please leave it in the comments. And if you happen to be watching the recording, then leave a comment still and we'll get back to you. So that was really nice. I love that. So let's talk a little bit more about, I would love to know, what lessons have you learned that continue to motivate you today?
And this is gonna sound so odd because it did to me at first, but I've learned, one, to fail forward. And that term I used to be so confused when I heard that term. Like, what does that mean? But not being afraid to fail. I think, the reality is, when you fail, that is a lesson to be learned. Like I said earlier, I thought back to what were some things I did early in my career that I could have did better on, that I didn't do, in terms of advocating for myself, in terms of speaking up, showcasing my leadership, all those things. Failing forward is an amazing thing. With every failure, you're a step closer to success, and don't let that hold you back, because you never know. It could be one, it could be two, it could be 10, it could be however many, but success is on the other side. So just to keep going. The second thing is to continue to learn. No one person knows everything, and no one expects you to know it all. I think some of the most respected people are those who continue to learn and ask questions and be inquisitive, and truly truly genuinely curious about things. So those are two things that I carry with me every day, and just continue to try new things, push myself forward, push myself out of my comfort zone to learn something new. It helps me to understand what I like, what I don't like, what I'm willing to do, and what I'm not willing to do. But at least, like I say, I gave it my best, and it takes me to the next level. And that's just what I found to be what works for me.
I love that. Fail forward. That's perfect. Just to keep going, take the stairs, and, to continue to learn. And you absolutely have. I mean, that is so ingrained. What I notice is that people's values, when they really hold them dear and near, they express that with everything that they do. And Teresa, you are absolutely doing that with what you do. You say continue to learn, and you're teaching learning courses.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you never stopped. The setbacks that you had, and the people who didn't encourage you and support you, you didn't let that stop. So that is fail forwarding, because with all of the wisdom that you obtained during those failures, that's exactly what you did. And I think that it also shows up in what you do when, you're not only, giving your services to a corporate audience, or somebody in a small business with a small team, but you've really branched out, from what I can tell, to your audience is such a big scope. You'll really serve anybody who wants the desire to learn and grow.
Absolutely. And what I love about it, it puts me in a position where I can learn about their business, what energizes them, really build authentic connections, build relationships, and just, building that momentum forward. So absolutely. I mean, I can't say it enough.
Well, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. I want to make sure that our audience has your contact info, because if somebody on this, I know there's going to be somebody, but you want to get a hold of Teresa, reach out to her. She's been more than generous to give out her Calendly link. And that's amazing. And then also visit her website at www.blueprintdesign.design and see what she's creating. And she's got a lot of cool things that you can see, and it'll open up your mind to be more creative yourself and see what's possible for you and your team if you have one. And, you know, if you're at the corporate level, see what's going on there and how can you reinvent and re-engage your team and, you know, the people that you're leading. So incredible stuff. Again, visit Teresa Scott. You can schedule with her at calendly.com/blueprint, and that's BLEU. So I want to make sure that the audience knows that it's not the traditional spelling of the color blue, but it's BLEU print, and her website, www.blueprint.design. My pleasure. Teresa,
Yes.
is there anything else that you would love to share with our audience today?
You know, honestly, I just want to really express my gratitude for you extending your platform to allow me to come in today, talk with you, have some good conversation, share what I do, share what I love. And I hope to connect with anyone else who's looking for, you know, inspiration, someone to support them, however the case is. I'm always happy to help. So April, thank you for giving the platform to just keep the conversation going.
My pleasure. That is what I try to do best, right? And speaking of, for our audience, this would not be possible without your generous contributions. So donate to the Wellness Driven Life Show. That's why we're here. That's why we have amazing people here, our guests that can give you so much light and wisdom and advice in their powerful stories, and also their services if they have them to offer. There are so many of our guests have written books to inspire and have services to offer to help us succeed as a species. So it brings me great joy when you donate on the website at www.thewellnessdrivenlifeshow.com. You will be gifted with a beautiful email follow-up so you can keep for your records. So I want to thank everyone again for being a part of the Wellness Driven Life Show. And I want to say happy Friday. If you happen to be watching the live, it is Friday. And Teresa and I are excited about that, the close of our week, to enjoy the weekend with our families. And so goodbye for now. And I will see you next week on the Wellness Driven Life Show.
Bye.